Hi everyone, my first two bikes were Kawasaki's, an EL250 for my learner bike and then an awesome GPX600R that I put a heap of kilometres on in my early 20s. But I must admit, what I really wanted as my second bike was a ZZR600. So I really love it when I see a ZZR on the road. I hope you enjoyed this episode with Chewie and his cracking Kawasaki ZZR600.
My name's Chewie, real name is Matthew. I've been riding 43 years. I started when I was about 5 or 6 on a little TM75 1969 model, which was a family bike. Rode that until I killed it. So I finished riding that when I was about 15 or 16 years old and have always had the passion just to ride ever since. It's definitely in the family. It was a brother thing. I'm number 5 of 6 kids. And I've got 3 older brothers. We received a family motorcycle as a Christmas present when I was about 5 or 6, I can't remember exactly. A Suzuki TM75 1969 model, little 2-stroke oil burner it was great. And my eldest brother, Johnny, he was a motorcycle enthusiast already at the ripe old age of 12. And obviously hogged the machine all the time. The only time I ever got to ride it was when it was already piping hot. He's like, you can go around the car park once or around the schoolyard once, bring it back, it's overheating. Sit there and watch him ride. I got to ride that motorcycle occasionally until he grew up and took off. And I got to have that motorcycle all to myself on a farm up near Kew, up near Port Macquarie. So every school holidays, I couldn't wait for school holidays. We would go up to our 5-acre property up there and I would bash the hell out of this little thing until it had no brakes, no clutch. I used to have to sand the spark plug for it to kick over. The kickstarter fell off, then I'd have to push start it. So I was very adept at a bike with no clutch, no brakes and no kickstarter by the time I destroyed that bike. The first thing I really love about the ZZR was the price. I bought it 3 years ago for $1,650 and it only had 45,000 kilometres on it and it worked fine, it was registered, everything good. Good tyres, good brakes. That's the first thing I love. The second thing I love is it's a fast little bike. It's only 600 cc's. I've burnt off leader bikes from the sets of lights, at least to the other white line, before they take over. I'm really happy with the power, obviously. It handles very well. It's something that I can lane filter on, and that's really important to me for a bike living in Sydney. I love the sound of a Kawasaki. And this thing sounds amazing. Everyone comments on the sound of this bike, and I really do enjoy the sound of an inline 4 motorcycle. It doesn't even have to be screaming its head off, but yeah, I love the sound of the bike. I love the XJR1300 for the look. I love the look, the Olin suspension on the back with the yellow, it just pops. That's one of my favourite looking bikes. There are so many that I want. I want a Rocket 3, especially the 2020 or 2021 models. They look amazing. An MT-01 Mad Max style bike, 1700 V twin. Oh man, when I first saw that bike, I won't say what I almost did. I'll definitely have a Triumph one day. A Hayabusa, I'd love to have a Hayabusa. There's so many bikes, I want them all. I love riding off-road, and the only reason I don't ride off-road now is my wife won't let me. She won't even entertain the thought of me riding off-road because she knows that I don't have much fear or self-preservation. I do things that I probably shouldn't when I get off-road. I love the front wheel in the air on a dirt bike. I don't do it on the road. I love doing jumps, even though I'm not good at it. And I'm 120 kilos. So whichever bike I've ever jumped has bottomed out every time I've jumped it, but I still do it anyway. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I love the acceleration of a motorcycle. That's the biggest thrill of riding a bike for me. It's more than cornering. I enjoy hitting it off the line. That's my thrill. Absolutely, yeah. I can think of one example on the XT250 when I was heading up on the Pacific Highway up north. It started to rain, I had road tyres on the bike, and I hit a little camber in the road and the rear wheel slipped out to the right and I'm on a left-hand turn. I was flat tracking around that corner doing 90 kilometres per hour flat stick, and I dare not get off the accelerator. I reckon if I didn't have the dirt experience then, I would have slid off the road easily. So in those situations, definitely makes you a better road rider. I started really trying to make videos about 3 years ago, and I watched moto vloggers do their thing and I thought, hey, I can do that. It doesn't look too difficult. My first 6 months of videos are atrocious. But then I started tapping into a bit more of the emotional side of being a man in this community that we live in. I made a couple of videos that I think were received quite well with men's mental health and things like that, suicide, depression. And that really kept me doing it. People started to get to know me a lot better. I started to get some friendships with people who are like-minded, other moto vloggers or YouTube content creators. But I love doing it, and that's the reason why I love doing it. It's to get the feedback, to get the involvement from the community around me, to get someone saying to me, I watched your video and you really made me think about that. That's what I'm about. For me, motorcycling is me time. It allows me that time of silence, even with the noise. I suppose that's what helps drain out everything else that's in your head. And it's a real refreshing time. It's a time for me to rejuvenate. It's a time for me to reflect on myself. It's a time for me to think creatively and plan what I'm going to do in the future as well. I don't have a center, I don't have headphones, I don't have any music playing when I ride. I just have my own thoughts when I ride, and that's such a blessing. I think it brings us in tune with nature as well, just riding out of the city especially. You have this new appreciation of trees and wind and air, and it's beautiful. Yeah, the ocean. I love the ocean. I love riding near the ocean. I love mountains. I love riding up mountain roads. Definitely mental health connection there. Definitely. It doesn't allow you to think back. People who think back about their past too much end up depressed. People who think too far forward get anxious. So when you're riding the bike, you're thinking now in the moment, and you can allow those creative thoughts to enter freely, yeah. I definitely want to see the Hay Plain. I know that completely contradicts my favourite road being twists and turns, but I've never seen the desert in Australia. I've never seen the real outback of Australia past Dubbo. I really want to head west. I'd love to go and see the Rock. I'd love to see the Great Ocean Road at the same time. Definitely south and west. Love anywhere out there, I'd love to go. Even Western New South Wales would be great. You can choose to do what you want when you're on a bike. I still feel like a naughty kid every time I get on the bike, even if I'm not doing anything wrong. In fact, I rarely do anything against the law, that's breaking the law. But I still feel like a naughty little kid when I get on the bike. I get that excitement and that thrill. My advice to a new rider would be, ride within your means. You don't have to keep up with anyone. No one thinks you're cool because you're going fast. Stay safe. It's a very dangerous lifestyle that we live as a motorcycle rider. We're 60 times more likely to die in an accident than someone in a car. So just ride within yourself. That's my advice.
Thanks for watching, and if you like this episode, hit that like button and be sure to head over to Chewie's channel and check it out. There's plenty of moto content as well as music content for those who love a bit of rock. Chewie will be at the Aussie Moto Content Producers event at Grey Gums Cafe on the 4th of December. so make sure you say hello to him if you can make it. Unfortunately, work commitments will keep me away from the event this year, but I'm sure it's going to be a great success and become an annual event. That's all for now, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can ride a motorcycle, and that's kind of the same thing.